The lungs of the earth are going to be given back to it, which is all these trees and all of these flowers, and it's going to be a whole total different vibration.
The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice in thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fella is come up against us.
Because the Lord is going to restore everything. You're going to have a total different vibration on the earth, a total different smell. You're not going to be walking down the street and smell shit and piss, and no foul odors or nothing like that, because the lungs of the earth are going to be given back to it, which is all these trees and all of these flowers, and it's going to be a whole total different vibration. You're going to see the aura and how things are going to change and how elevated things are going to be. Our senses are going to be heightened, Everything about us is going to be glorified.
The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice in thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fella is come up against us. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples for his younger brothers, and peace and blessing and salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and the truth and this sincerity across the four winds. In the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, pushing together body and Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who might came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and what I want to get into tonight is dealing with, where it all leads, the complete destruction of Babylon, where it all leads, and it's the complete destruction of Babylon, and there's so much going on, at one time, the devil, he has, domestic situations, the ICE and, trying to stir up, civil unrest, the Insurrection Act, then you got, the elites got Trump, pretending to be this, the great conqueror, which is causing strife, between these other nations. And then, you have, these other nations, beginning to make alliances, to come against the whore, according to the scriptures. Down what the plan is, for the elites, as to what the Lord's plans are. And the Lord has sworn by himself, that he's going to turn America into a desert. So when Esau, finishes, scrambling, trying to, establish this new world order, trying to establish, Edomite supremacy, trying to, put the sea hill, transhumanism, so forth and so on. When this man gets done, playing all these games, the Lord's going to judge this man. Okay, America gonna be a desert. This beast system, okay, is gonna be, torn down. Okay, this whole, beast system, the economy, the government, okay, these Western governments, all the governments of the world. This whole system is going to be brought down to the ground, literally. Because of the earth rail to and fro, like a drunkard, from these missiles hitting. It's going to cause the infrastructure of the earth to collapse, man. Okay, so the Lord finna bring all this shit down, man. Everything that these heathens, beginning with Esau, have established and built up is going to come to the ground. Okay, and they're going to go into captivity. So this is where everything leads to. It's a beautiful time to be alive as a believer. Lord will, we get to see it, from phase 1 all the way through, man. Okay, to America is on fire, and we're changing those chariots because that's the goal. That's why we're here. Okay, to see the fall of our enemies. Okay, and the destruction of this whole wicked system that runs the earth, man. This whole wicked empire, that runs the earth. Now let's go here to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, and I want to start off at verse 13, and this is in the AMP. And we've been in this chapter a lot lately. Due to the events that's transpiring. Okay, this is Jeremiah 49:13. Said, "For I have sworn an oath by myself, said the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai, that Basra will become an object of horror, a reproach, a ruin, and a curse, and all these cities will become perpetual waste." Okay, so the Lord said He sworn by Himself. Okay, that Basra will become an object of horror, and that's gonna be America, man. Okay, the landmass of America is gonna be turned into a lake of fire. Okay, the anger of the Lord is gonna rest on America, man. The whole earth is going to be punished and judged. You see, but the centerpiece of judgment is right here in America, man. Babylon the Great, the whore. Okay, Egypt. You go throughout the scriptures. All right, scripture after scripture goes into the complete annihilation and destruction. Okay, of America, man. It goes by different names, but it's the same destruction. You see, it goes by different names, but it always results, okay, in the same destruction. All right, verse 14 says, "I have heard a report from the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai, and a messenger has been sent to the nation, saying, gather together and come against her and rise up for the battle, man." And we know that the Lord, plays on the minds of these kings, through the angels. So there's angels that dispatch, okay, to play on the minds of these leaders. Damn the deals they got with the elites. Okay, we know everybody's in bed with the elites, but the elites ain't got the last say so on how this turned out. Okay, the Lord is playing on the mind of these rulers to bring His will to pass. Okay, the elites are peons, man, compared to our power. They're nothing. Okay, so what we're seeing is there's a gathering to this battle. Okay, and then the devil gets closer and closer to trying to establish his new world order, where they get closer to war. Okay, because this nigga's finna fail. You see, we finna see this man fail in everything that he's trying to pull off. Okay, so that's why it's a joy to watch him try to do it, because we know how it ends according to scriptures, man. This is what we believe. This is the faith and the patience of the saints, man. Okay, Jeremiah 49:15 said, "For behold, Edom, I have made you small among the nations and despised among men." Okay, so Edom is becoming despised amongst nations, man. It's becoming small amongst men. There was a time You know, with these devils, okay, were like gods to these nations, man. Okay, but now we're seeing the Most High is breaking this nigga down in size. Okay, and this nigga is looking very vulnerable, man. The Lord got this nigga looking very vulnerable on the world stage, man. Esau is for the taking. Okay, we in the spirit, we gotta see past the smoke and mirrors, man. This nigga is for the taking, man. Okay, this nigga ain't got nothing on lock, man. Okay, the Most High is stripping this man of everything. Okay, he got one last hoorah, and that's it. You know, he gonna wreak havoc, you know, domestically, you know, during Jacob's trouble. Okay, and then he gonna take his ass to war and get embarrassed, man. Okay, he gonna take his ass to real war and get embarrassed, and then Yahweh Shah gonna come put the dirt on this nigga, man. Okay, and the rest of these heathens. Okay, so I'm gonna jump around. Said verse 17 said, Edom will become an object of horror. Everyone who goes by it will be astonished and shall hiss scornfully at all its plagues and disasters, man. Okay, so the Lord's gonna, you know, make America. All right, the Lord's gonna make America, aka Babylon, great. You see, the Lord is gonna make this place an object of horror. This is going to be the results of rebellion against the Most High. Okay, the Most High is going to leave a great example of what rebellion leads to. Okay, it's going to be known. It's going to be a constant reminder to all these nations. This is what rebellion leads to. You know, America going to be a memorial of rebellion. Okay, the product of rebellion. Verse 18, it says, of Sodom and Gomorrah with their neighboring cities, says the Lord, no man will live there, nor will son of man dwell in it. Okay, and Sodom and Gomorrah will destroy it with fire. Okay, you will melt it. You see, for the Lord finna melt America, man. That's what's in the plans for America. All right, you in America with, you know, all these plans, you know, your granddaughter, you know, college fund. Okay, you want to pass a business down to your grandson. Listen, man, we not getting that far. Okay, the days are numbered on this place, man. You know, we don't know the exact date, but we know it's close. Okay, and the Lord is going to obliterate this place with fire, man. Okay, America's going to be melted, man, turned into a desert. All this infrastructure, all the elements, okay, going to be turned to powder, man. This place going to be a desert. Okay, uninhabitable, man. Okay, and we're seeing these things play out. Okay, now you go to Jeremiah 49 and 20. It said, therefore, hear the plan of the Lord, which he had devised against Edom. See, the Lord has a plan against Edom. He done. The Lord is against this man. That's why we don't have to raise a military and get arms and try to do no coup. You know, now the Black Panthers back. Okay. Nigga, you desperate, man. Nigga is desperate. Nigga brought back the Panthers, man. This nigga is desperate. Okay? Because the Lord's against Esau, man. Man, it's a beautiful time to be alive, man. To be a believer, man. It's a great time to be alive, man. We shouldn't be sad about nothing, man. Okay, we finna get our power back, brothers. Somebody got to be the elect. Somebody got to be the first fruit, man. And it's a great chance it could be us. You know? And that's why we should take what we do more serious than ever, man. You know? The Lord has raised up his sons, all right, to be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai, man. He has raised up the rest of his sons, okay, the sons of God to be joint heirs, man. It's a great chance this can be us, man. What else left is it to do, man? But be a joint heir, man. What else is there left to do but be a joint heir with Yahushua as an Israelite man? Okay? And this is what we're striving for. And it says in here, what he has purpose against the inhabitants of Teman, surely they will be dragged away. All right? Talking about these small hands are going to drag America into this war. Okay? So even the little ones of the flock, surely he will make their dwelling place desolate because of them. Okay, and all these decisions and moves that this devil is making, it's just leading to America being the desert, this whole beast system being brought to the ground. Okay, and the Edomites going into captivity, man. This how this thing go. To sum up everything in a nutshell. Okay, so I want to play this quick video, then we'll get some more precepts of Ratazar. But this is from the channel Hopeful Leg 3, the brother Yaquab. Okay.
You can see it, I can see it. Pretty soon there are going to be bombs dropping in America. And that's not because I want it to. I don't want this to be the case. But if you read the Bible and you read Revelation 17 and 18, well, you can understand that the Bible's speaking about a
And
world
we want this to be the case. You know? And if you don't want this to be the case, you're a part of the problem. But you see the talking points that dominate, all right, the earth, man. Okay, and this prophecy, man, because that's the only thing that matters right now. Okay, it's prophecy. You know? But now we want this place to be ended. We want the Lord to finalize their judgment on America and these Edomites, man. Okay, and there's no way, you know, that you can be for righteousness and you want this place to continue on. Okay, and the Lord finna make everybody pick a side, you know, because he's talking about the destruction. You know, he probably listens, you know, he grew his beard out. Okay, but he's not becoming a new creature because a new creature will want America destroyed. You see, there's no way you'll make that statement, you know, and being born again in the spirit of Yahushua. Okay, no, that's all we want. That's we're obsessed with America being destroyed. Okay.
power, which exerts its military might, its power, its financial abilities on all other nations. I've been seeing warnings left and right from other people who feel the same way that pretty soon America is going to be attacked. And I can't tell you when, which exerts, well, you can understand that the Bible's speaking about a world superpower, which exerts its military might, its power, its financial abilities on all other nations. I've been seeing warnings left and right from other people who feel the same way that pretty soon America is going to be attacked. And I can't tell you when, obviously not. But guys, look at the writing on the wall. The thing is, people are so oblivious. They're so distracted. They don't think that America could ever fall. In Revelation 18, it says that Mystery Babylon says in her heart that I sit as a queen and I am no widow. I shall see no sorrow. Meaning that Mystery Babylon believed that she could never face the consequences of her actions, much like America. God confounds the mighty. It says that in the Bible, that God uses the weak things of the earth to put to shame the mighty. We are in the age of God's judgment. We can all see it. We have people who don't read the Bible, people who don't believe in God, who are posting videos, they're posting on blogs and forums, expressing their uneasiness looking at what's going on in the world. You can go ahead and continue to deny. You can go ahead and continue to think that America will persist on for another 100, 200 years. I'm here to let you know that time is running out for this country.
Yeah, man, this place is done, you know, and the only thing left is the destruction. Okay, and this is why we see, the Lord moving His chess pieces on the board of prophecy. Okay, that's going to end this place, man. All right, so let's go here because He spoke about Revelation 17 and 18. So let's touch on these two chapters a little bit. Uh, let's go here. Okay, so you go into the book of Revelation. All right, chapter 17, verse 1, it says, "And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth on many waters." And this great whore is America, man. And sitteth on many waters is the waters are the people, because America, is over, it's the overlord to many governments in the earth, and America has the most influence of any nation in the planet Earth. Okay, it's the whore that sitteth, all right, on many waters. It dominates many people. That's why America is known as an empire. Okay, that's how you know it's the Roman Empire coming back. America is Rome, okay, 2.0. You see? And these other nations, are have been made vassals, beginning the EU nations. Okay, because either you're a vassal, or you're a province of the Roman Empire. Okay, that's how the Roman Empire got down. Okay, so we've seen America come and establish that same dominance of ancient Rome. All right, so it says, Revelation 17 and 2 says, "With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication," man. Okay, so through America, the elites, was able to make the earth drunken. Beginning with this money system. Okay, because to participate, in these markets, because all these global markets are dominated by American banks. Okay, so participating in these markets, well, you have to be influenced by the whore. Okay, you have to partake, all right, in the wickedness and the rebellion of the whore to participate in these markets, man. Some countries more than others, man, but to participate and indulge, okay, in the perks that come with, this global system, where you have to be influenced by the whore. You have to partake in that wine, okay, of democracy, okay, like I say, this money system, okay, this technology is replacing the Most High. All these nations are down with this, digital currency, okay, surveillance state, social credit scores for their people, okay, which all this is pure rebellion against Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai, because that's the main doctrine that's in this devil's cup, okay, is rebellion against Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai, man. Trust the science, and the elites have used America to spread this doctrine all throughout the earth, man. Whether they was just, in awe at the beast, or whether it took force, okay, whether it's sanctions or military intervention, man. Okay, this beast system has influenced the earth in rebellion. Verse 3 says, "So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns." Okay, and going back into this woman, it's the same whore, okay, described in verse 1, sitting on this scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, man. Because Esau, every rulership that he established is blasphemous against the Most High. Okay, it pushes, sin as a culture. The rulers are lewd, Going back to the Greeks, Alexander was a Mo. You know, the Greeks, you know, that was normal amongst the Greeks, man, to be a Mo and little boys and all, you know, the Romans, and the Romans were known as boy lovers. Okay. So the governments of Esau, Edom, you know, the power structure, you know, all these different power structures that this man has set up in the earth, okay, they all been blasphemous to Yahweh Bashim Shai. You know, of course, he worshiped these other gods, you know, and then he makes himself a god, okay, you know, through mythology. And you see, so when you go, he said having 7 heads, you know, and this represents, you know, the devil's, you know, power structures over time, you know, beginning with the Greeks, then you had the Romans, okay, then you had the Germania Major, Germania Minor, you know, the French, the Spanish, and the British, okay, and he dominated, you know, the earth through these different empires. You know, these 7 heads, you know, really going to see different Edomite empires, okay, and these 10 horns represent the vassals, okay, and these vassals mainly of the Roman Empire, okay. And today, the new Roman Empire, these vassals, these 10 horns, are these EU nations. And that's the system that governs the earth. You know, financially, militarily, this has been the system that has been governing the earth. But what do we see as of late? The Lord has raised up a counter system into this one. You know, where you have Russia, China, Iran, you know, the main three, but then you have India, North Korea. Okay, Turkey is going to join that alliance. Okay, that's going to be against these Western powers, this beast system. Okay, so the Lord has raised up an alliance, what the scripture say, an assembly of nations to wage war against this beast system. Okay, which you're going to usher in the second coming of Yahweh Shai. Okay, verse 4 says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearl, having a golden cup in her hand, full of the abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Okay, and color what goes into to royalty, man. You know, because America has enjoyed, you know, first world status like no other nation. You know, since America, you know, had the honor, you know, to be the world reserve currency, going back to the Bretton Woods agreements. Okay, back in I believe that's 44. Okay, when they agreed to move from the British pound to the American dollar, the world reserve currency, man. Okay, and then what do you have? You had after that, you had a booming middle class. Okay, that emerged in America. Okay, you know one job could afford a house, car, vacations, savings. Okay, so you had a time when America enjoyed first world privilege like no other nation. Okay, and this is one of the things that these nations wanted to imitate, was the quality of living for their citizens like America had, which it was the Edomite family. Okay, because you had Jakes that had thriving communities, you know, but Esau would destroy them. Okay, but as a whole, you know, the Edomite family, okay, was the Edomite family in America was the envy of the earth. You know, that thriving middle class. Okay, and that was one of the things that you know, persuaded these nations, you know, to take on, okay, the wine of Babylon. Okay, they looked at America as having it figured out. You see, America looked like the way. Okay, you had all those migrants that flooded to America, you know, in hopes for, you know, this dream life. You know, people thought that the streets were actually golden, man. The scriptures speak about America being a golden city. You So I wanna go here real quick, just a quick look up, 'cause this is how a lot of these other nations, saw America. So just a quick, AI view, nothing too deep. There's some migrants, right? There's some immigrants believe in the myth, okay, of the streets of gold in America. It said, yes, some immigrants believe in the myth of America having streets of gold, often fueled by stories of quick riches like the California gold rush, which there was a hoax. All right, the elite bankers behind that, the elites made more money selling tools, all right, for these people to mine for gold than the people made and actually finding gold. All right, even that was a hoax. All right, but it brought settlers and it created cities, okay, in the West. It was a way to get a population, in the West Coast of America, man. Okay, it says was drew Chinese to Gold Mountain and broader tales of the American dream, but found reality meant hard work paving those paths, as seen in the famous Ellen Island quote. Okay, so you had the gold rush, It says general hope, the idea of America as a land of easy wealth, a land of opportunity, was a powerful draw, even in literal, all right, even if literal gold streets were a metaphor. Okay, so America, was look very appealing, all right, to the world. America was looked at as the way, the land of opportunity, man. Okay, but within America, all right, because it looked good on the outside, that golden cup, but what was in the cup was filth. Okay, because America was established on witchcraft. All right, it was established on lewdness, you know, on Satanism, disguised as, you know, a Bible, fearing country. Nah, man, it was founded on Satanism. Okay, but the elites, they dressed America up. They dressed up the whore. They decked her out. Okay, and made us seem appealing to the world. Which drew a lot of people here, and also America was able to influence, push its influence to other nations. Okay, as if they had it figured out. Okay, and what these nations are realizing, all right, the hard way is America was never the way. Okay, so when you go back here, it's back in Revelation 17, okay, and 5, and it says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. Okay, so this is mystery Babylon the Great. It was meant to be a mystery. Okay, and as we've awakened in these last times, the Lord has, raised up the prophets in these last days. We understand these mysteries, man. These mysteries are revealed to the prophets, man. That we fully understand that this is Babylon Great, and we know how it ends for Babylon the Great, man. Okay, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. This is the source. Okay, this is the motherland of wickedness on the planet Earth, man. It's here in America, man. A lot of wickedness that dominates the earth is birthed right here in America, man. Okay, it says, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahweh. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Okay, so even John, he's seen a literal woman, and it shows you how appealing, in the way that John, wondered with great admiration for the woman, just shows you how appealing America was to the flesh. Okay, and that's what America was meant to be. America was meant to be appealing to the flesh, and right, it's supposed to be an enticement. You see, but now we're in a time now, okay, where people are waking up. They're sobering up. Okay, off their wine. You see, and now they're seeing that they've been robbed blind. They don't own anything. Okay, and the nations are mad. Okay, You know, the way that the system is set up to where America can weaponize the dollar. You know, now they realize, you know, after a night of fun, because these nations have gotten rich and continue to get rich off America. But on the flip side, America has been able to, just as America is able to build up an economy, where they can destroy one as well. And as of late, America has been on a tirade, putting tariffs and sanctions on everyone, man. Okay, and now these nations see, you know, that it was always a bad deal. Okay, now let's go here. Jump to verse 15. It says, "And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, which the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues." Okay, so the waters represents peoples. Okay, I was saying America Empire, all right, has dominance over a lot of people, a lot of different regions of the earth. Okay, have to answer to the American government. You see, as you can see, they can just go remove a president. Okay, now they don't have, you know, the power that they used to have, but they still will, you know, authority over many people. Okay, it says, "In the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." Man, that's the nukes. You know, and there's these 10 horns partaking along with these, you know, these other assembly of nations. You know, Russia and everyone that's under the banner of Russia is their chief prince. Okay, to take this place down, man, to utterly destroy this place with fire. That's the end game. You know, you go through American history. This is what it was always meant to lead to. Okay, this was always the end result, dealing with American empire, man. Okay, so let's go here to Revelation 18 and read a little bit of this. All right, this Revelation 18 and 1. It says, "And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth lighted, you know, with his glory, you know, their chariot." You know, so John the Revelator is seeing, you know, an angel come down with great power in their chariot. Okay, and he cried with a strong voice, saying, "Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird," man. Okay, it always ends with Babylon falling, you know, and they're going into these unclean, you know, spirits and animals, going to these unclean birds, these desert animals. Okay, America is going to be a haven, okay, a desert for unclean desert animals, man. That's the memorial that the Lord is going to turn America into, man. Revelation 18:3, "For all nations were drunk of the wine, okay, of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth had committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies," man. You know, because through, you know, these global markets, okay, established by the American empire, which the bankers established these global markets through America. Okay, these nations were able to get rich, man. They was opening to markets that they would have never been open to. You know, they was able to trade, you know, their resources globally. Okay, the products that they made, okay, they was able to trade them globally through these markets, man, through the dollar. You know, and that's what kept the dollar strong for so long, because it was the main currency of global trade. You know, even to this day, you know, it's still that main currency of global trade. All right. Now you have these nations that have workarounds to where, you know, they're just, you know, destroyed. If America does sanctions or tariffs, they have workarounds to where, you know, they're not just stuck, okay, to just a dollar. You know, they still got to deal with it in this system, okay, because this system was built to be dollar dominant. Okay, and until they try to switch this system over, the dollar is always going to be their number one currency. Okay, but eventually, all right, these devils are going to try to switch over to the digital currency, man. You see, and this is where we're going to see these nations fight. If they try to reset these systems, eventually these nations going to fight, man. Okay. Verse 4 says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sin, and that you receive not of her plagues." Man. Okay. And this is a voice coming from the chariots. Okay. To the elect. Because we're going to be delivered up. If the missiles come down, we're going to be delivered up, man. Okay. Or say the righteous shall scarcely be saved. It said, "For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities." You see, and the Most High been keeping tab on America, man, because as late, America has become the number one complaint in the earth. America and the small hats. Okay, and then these complaints come from their most recent crimes, the most recent iniquities. Okay, America has a long track record. Okay, Maduro is one of many. Okay, the Maduro, Venezuela, just one of many. These devils been getting down like this. It's just now it's time for the devil to be judged. So it's being called out. Okay, verse 6, it says, "Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. And the cup which she have filled to her double," man. You see? So these Edomites, they're finna get, double the captivity that we serve, 1,000 years. Okay? They've impoverished, the earth, where they finna have 1,000 years of poverty. Okay? Owning nothing. Not even themselves, man. Okay? The slaughter, that she did, okay, that these Edomites have done, through America. All this finna come back double. And this is the only thing Esau's been doing is earning his judgment, man. He has called it prosperity. He's called it progress. But the whole time he was running up a tab for his judgment, man. Okay. Verse 7 says, "How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow." Okay? And shall see no sorrow. So this is the mind of America. Here it is, they're building up the biggest tab ever. Okay, but the mind of America is that it will never see sorrow. From the leadership to the common man. Okay, the common people. Verse 8, "Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall utterly burn with fire, for strong is the Lord who judgeth her," man. Okay, so hey, the Lord's finna make a drastic change in the earth, man. He's finna bring drastic judgment to the earth, and America gonna get the worst, man. He finna turn this place to a place of mourning, death, famine, and then the grand finale, the nukes and the chariots, man, the fire from the chariots, man. Okay, so this is where we at, man, concerning the whore. All right, ain't no reversing this, man. It got to happen. So that's the point. Lord will, you brothers and you sisters edify till next time I say Shalom. Kwam Yashala, Abba soon, Shalom.